Applying for an exemption by Krishna's mercy. Guru nahatva hi mahanubhavan Shreyo bhoktum bhaiksham piha loke hatvartha kamanstu guru nihev bhujjiya bhogan rudhir pradigdhan. Quote, "It is better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though they are avaricious, they are nonetheless superiors. If they are killed, our spoils will be tainted with blood." Arjuna, Bhagavad-gita 2.5.
I don't blame people for trying it. The governments in the modern day are corrupt from top to bottom. You should never deal honestly with a liar or a thief. If the higher-ups pass laws that are unjust, that force people into doing something, it is completely reasonable for the wise people to respond with their cleverness in trying to skirt the rules. In this case, they apply for exemptions, using whatever manoeuvres they can that have the best chances of succeeding. I think the case with Arjuna is a little different. He comes up with this sort of fake morality as the justification for avoiding unpleasant behaviour. His timing could not be worse either. People are counting on him. They have assembled on the battlefield. They took the time to get properly dressed. They have their uniforms on. Arjuna is supposed to lead the way. He has the most skill, and there is no ambiguity as to what needs to be done. Except Arjuna suddenly changes his mind. He hesitates. He considers a different option. It is like deep down he knows there is something wrong with his logic, but he proceeds to voice the concerns anyway. He is fortunate in that there is a trusted arbiter nearby. It is like taking your problems to your local pastor. In a confidential session, where you can lay out the issues without embarrassment, Arjuna asks Krishna for help. Something about it rubs me the wrong way, though. It is like that student who comes into school the next day, not having completed their homework assignment. They not only fail to follow through on what was asked, but they try to justify their omission through some conjured-up system of morality. It was more important to take care of the dog, you see. Or perhaps there was a sudden illness that only started after school ended yesterday and then dissipated once the current day began. Why would Krishna indulge this kind of behaviour? I understand that he accurately characterized it as a narya, which signals a lack of culture. Krishna's first response was to smile. He thought the proposal to drop the weapons was foolish. He wondered how Arjuna could have fallen from the standard of high culture. Nevertheless, Krishna still helped Arjuna. He carefully explained matters, when I think a simple slap to the side of the head would have sufficed.
Another way to view things is to say that if someone like Arjuna is vulnerable to losing rational thought, albeit for a brief moment, how widespread must the danger actually be? How safe are any of us? A degree earned from a prestigious university is insufficient. A steady track record of success tied to sober thought is no safeguard. Having decided properly in the past is no guarantee for always deciding properly in the future. At the heart of the matter of the impetus for the Bhagavad-gita conversation is the difference between the highest being of all and everyone else. That highest being is always infallible. The name Achyut is appropriate. His features are so amazing that no instrument can report a proper measurement, hence the name avaricious. He is both all-pervading in nature, Vishnu, and the topmost as an individual being, Purushottama. In the course of their subsequent conversation, Krishna explained that the teachings presented therein were once transferred thousands of years prior. Krishna was the teacher in both cases. But how could that be? The timeline of the creation is thousands and thousands of years. Shri Bhagwan Uvach, Bahuni me vyatitani, janmani tav charjun, tanya aham ved sarvani, natvam vet parantab. Quote, the Blessed Lord said, Many, many births both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy. Bhagavad-gita 4.5. Krishna then revealed that both he and Arjuna had appeared in the manifest realm before. The difference is that Krishna could remember those past experiences while Arjuna could not. This simple yet significant truth should not be overlooked. Memory cannot be the sole basis for establishing fact. I do not remember so many things, including my time in the womb of my mother. This does not mean I appeared in this world out of nowhere, like a spontaneous spark of fire. The same lack of memory precedes us from our past births. Krishna does remember. He vouches for this principle of the eternal existence of the individual, which is explained as reincarnation for the less intelligent. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam, tyajatya ante kalivram, tam tameveti konte, sadatad bhava bhavita. Quote, whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. Lord Krishna, Bhagavad-gita 8.6. Should Krishna have punished Arjuna for applying for an exemption from performing his occupational duties at the last moment with a flimsy justification? Should Krishna have repeatedly revisited the affair after the fact as a way to embarrass his dear friend and cousin? Should Krishna have held the blemish against that celebrated bow warrior to remind the population of the fallibility of even the greatest competitors on the battlefield? As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna is free to do as he desires, but just see the amazing level of kindness. The compassion is off the charts. Krishna was driving the chariot prior to the conversation with Arjuna. He went back to driving the chariot at the conclusion of their conversation. He is fine with taking orders from his devotees. How can one person be so kind? This is more worthy of contemplation and endless study than any of the particulars of the so-called dilemma that Arjuna faced. In closing, one thing keep in mind, how amazingly kind, despite silliness to hear, rooted in Arjuna's fear, and justification fake, seriously words to take, that disciple uplifting too, bond holding strong and true,